Drivers, start your engines!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talladega, baby. Oh boy, I'm excited for this one in the TDR Veterans First Responders. Boy, I'm Andy Shaner, alongside some fun people, good friends of mine. We'll start off with Tommy A. Bear. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
I was just about to say, I'm used to a solo introduction, but we got a whole booth full of guys and some names that some of the folks out there in the YouTube world might start recognizing here.
Absolutely. They've been hitting the booth here lately, helping us out. Have done a phenomenal job. We've got Jay Downham and Dustin Beldusen. What's up, guys?
Not much, guys. Looking forward to Dega. Always a fun track to race, and it's shake of the dice so you can win this race.
Absolutely. Shaking the dice. He said the exact words. It's exactly what's going to happen tonight. Anybody's race. Jay, who's your pick of the race tonight?
I agree.
I do too. He has no idea. He has no idea. He's speechless, as am I. I don't know who's gonna win this. We got Matty Moniak is the top of the speed chart. Of course, that's all due to drafting and everything else. But man, we've seen Joseph Causey now take 3 straight races. Is it?
Yep, 3 in a row.
Can you hear me now?
We
We
can
got you,
hear
Jay.
you. Well, welcome to the booth,
Oh.
Jay. I'm sorry we woke you up from your nap.
No, that's quite okay. Really, I mean, every time I go mute, it does not want to unmute me, so I guess my computer doesn't want to hear me anymore. No, after speaking last week, Marty won 4 in a row. Or not, Joseph Causey won 4 in a row. Tonight he said he wasn't that great. He's going to need help to get there tonight, but I have a feeling he's very quick, he's very fast. Zimmerman is in here. Those two are buddies. They can hook up, so I think Causey was going to pull out yet another victory tonight. That is my call.
Your
Going
prediction,
with the
5 in a row.
time. So Jay's looking for a 5-time. 5
That's
time.
it.
5-time.
Five.
Veterans and First Responders winner. I personally am looking for a completely different name tonight. I will pick the field of non-guys we talk about, okay? So it's not going to be Joseph Causey. It's not going to be Devin Zimmerman. It's not going to be Ethan Thompson. It's going to be somebody else in the field. That's my pick.
And who you
Dustin,
pick?
who you got?
Just looking at speed charts, not like it matters because it is a drafting track, but I'm going to go with Lonnie Mixon tonight. Hopefully he can pull out a victory tonight.
Tommy.
That's a good pick. Lonnie Mixon certainly flirted with the front, and again, anybody's race, these guys that haven't finished that well in prior races, mostly thanks to, Joseph Causey winning all those events, we're going to see those names up front. But my pick, either Kevin Guillier, Corey Harrigus, or Mike Smith. Everyone knows in opportunity racing at these play tracks, you need friends, and it's nice to have 2 of them in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
That is true. And Kevin Gear and our other friend out there race together all the time, and they're in there pretty much their own chats. So Guillier and Harrigus in that number 12, if they get together, they're in their own little chat. They are teammates. They do work together well. I have a feeling that if they work together, they may be the spoilers of the night. So we shall see.
Well, and on that team, Boogity Motorsports, there is a third member, Mike Smith, who had a move recently. He was kind of uninvolved with a few of these races, and we finally see the 1, 2, 3 teaming of Boogity Motorsports back together. And I'm willing to bet one of those three will end up in victory lane tonight if they can stay out of trouble, right?
Yeah, and we've seen them stay out of trouble. I mean, we thought that there was going to be a big wreck at Las Vegas, and they just ran wire to wire. So these guys know how to get it done. Barring anybody really getting out of line or getting loose and causing a big wreck, I think they can go flag to flag without any cautions or whatever. The biggest key is going to be who can draft with who and who can't. Who can get down on pit road and off of pit road together on the same strategy, and that's going to play a big part in it too.
Yep, absolutely. Pit strategy here is huge. You got to have somebody to go in with. You got to have someone that comes out with you. Any mistake there can definitely jostle up your plan. But it's going to be an exciting night of pack racing here. Matthew Moniak still up front. Andrew Bisnett, Lonnie Mixon filling out the top three there. And I like the pick of Lonnie Mixon. I think Lonnie Mixon has flirted with the lead a few times here in the series. And what better place to win a race than at Dega where anybody can win it?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a good pick. Any of the guys right now, because you see Lonnie's running, he's third on the speed chart right now, and he's running in that pack, and he hasn't really been up front. He's just been hanging out in the lead. So we just got to see how these guys shake it out. There's really a small field tonight. I believe I've only seen 11 cars out on track tonight, so maybe a little bit more. There's a spin around. His car around.
There's a lot of that tonight, guys. It's going to be a battle of the big one, right? Survive the big one, and you have a chance.
We got 19 in the field tonight, so it is a bigger field than when we first took the air here. So a couple other guys have joined in. So yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. Single file. I mean, we've talked about this all the time there, where they get 2, 3 wide. You can go 4, but be 2 when you come out. Or at least 3 as you're coming out of turn 4. You can get turned around. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play it out. Are they going to go 2 wide? I think for the most part, they're going to try and stick to that bottom. We've seen it a couple times in a few of the races that we have been broadcasting where we think they're going to go. And from what I've seen, the outside line isn't the way to go. It's always a bottom line. So
you can get the outside to go, but you're going to have friends, and you have to have multiple friends. You can't just have one.
Yep.
And if you do that, you can pull side draft, and the outside line will get the run off the corners. You can beat them back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I typically look at it as a 2-to-1 ratio. If you got 2 guys lined up on the inside, you probably want 4 to make that outside line work, just to have all that extra horsepower up there pushing against the extra distance around the track.
Tommy,
right.
We got to take care of something before qualifying's over, buddy.
What's that?
Let's pay some bills.
Oh man, I've been ignoring these bills. I figured the mailman would just take them back where they came from.
First up is going to be our Victory Lane sponsor tonight, which is Sunny South Raceway.
Yeah, Sunny South Raceway, located in Grand Bay, Alabama. They run, I believe, every other Saturday night. Very family-friendly track. They do focus on racing from ages 4 and up. And track manager Lonnie Mixon is actually out on the track tonight. We just mentioned his name. He is a veteran, so thank you for your service, Lonnie. And thank you for everything you do over there at Sunny South Raceway.
Next up, B&B Wraps.
B&B Wraps, the sponsors of the trophies for the season winner for the TDR Veterans and First Responders League, which is a vinyl wrap board these guys get to hang on the wall and show to their brothers in arms that they were faster than the other guys out there. And outside of trophies and doing some iRacing wraps, he wraps real-life vehicles as well as any other object you need, whether it be a helmet, small engine, from coffee cups to semi-trucks. B&B Wraps can get it done for you.
Next up, the man with no introduction needed, McConey Setup Shop.
Oh, he might have needed an introduction the other night when he ran with us in that road course race. Jeff showed up. He said he had a good time out there. He had a little bit of trouble early on. He did show some speed, but it was probably because he wasn't on a McConey setup shop. I think he gets a little bit spoiled having those boys build everything for him in-house. But everyone knows Jeff McConey, huge contributor to the iRacing community, huge contributor to the charitable side of the iRacing community. McConey Setup Shop, their setups, your victories.
Last but certainly not least is our title sponsor. I won't say it today just for you, Tommy. We got Total Business Solutions.
Yeah, Total Business Solutions NE on Facebook or totalbusinesssolutionsne.com. Business services to help you focus on growth. From payroll management to employee benefits, time and attendance, insurance, and merchant services, they make it easier to manage your business.
All right, we get that out of the way, and we get back to looking at the speed charts for qualifying. Kevin Gear. So that is one that Tommy has picked, I believe, as one of his winners tonight. Looks like he's sitting on top of the poll right now.
Yeah, picking Boogity Motorsports is an easy pick because you get 3 chances at the W.
That's right. Gotta have friends though, right? So Devin Zimmerman is obviously gonna run with Causey. Might hook up with Ethan Thompson since they've all been running together all season. Um, Marty Brown, Jeremy Gaiman. I looked for them to hook up together. These are TDR veterans, right? And when I say
Yeah.
veterans, not just vets and first responders, but been in TDR for a long time. Have raced a lot together, so I really look to them to hook up and run together. Chuck McDonald will obviously try and hook up with Lonnie Mixon as well.
Yeah, Kurt Gudenkauf been in and out since season 1. Andrew Bisnet has been with TDR and the veteran series for a long time. We're on season 4. We've got a couple names out there that have been here since season 1. We've watched them go from the street stocks to the trucks on up to the big series. So some of those guys that have been here for all 4 seasons might start flexing some muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're gonna be getting ready to go green here shortly. Not sure how much time they have, but it looks like everybody's turned their laps so far. I'm going to turn this thing over to you and Jay and Dustin for the call of the race, and I'll be back in if we have any trouble.
Oh, that's expected.
That is going right out.
We are not professionals, but we do our best. Isn't that right, Jay?
That is right. The better we do, the more we don't hear of Andy, the better off we are, I guess. I'm not sure how that works out. What do you think, Dustin?
I've only done a few of these. It's always a fun time though. Learning is it's a great learning curve. Let's just have some fun tonight and let's have a great race.
Yeah, I will say, having worked with both of you in the past, you guys both do an awesome job. And, don't be nervous. It's really all about having fun and talking about the race with your friends while it goes on.
That's right. And there's 3 of us up here, so we don't have to kill the time together. So everybody can just jump in whenever there's an awkward silence. So
there'll probably be a few of them.
There's no going to be awkward silence. You're at Talladega.
Right.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 minutes per caution lap. So let's hope we don't see too many of them, and we'll have a great race. And everybody goes. I'd love to see 2-3 wide racing through the first, through some of it, because I've been expecting it with these next gen cars. I mean, I've been waiting for it. I just have yet to see it, except for a half a lap, maybe at most. So hopefully we can get these guys 2-3 wide. I mean, let's show what these big boys. Maybe they can come down and watch us and maybe get some tips for these next gen cars going in here.
Well, I know these guys have the chops to run 2 and 3 wide. What I'm looking at is the car count. We got 17 to 19 cars that are going to field this race here, and that's basically half of a full NASCAR field. And I don't know there's enough cars for them to feel confident trying to get 3 lanes to work, but I guarantee you we're going to see a lot of door handle to door handle stuff, and maybe a couple guys taking some chances up in that 3rd lane.
Well, I'd love to see 2 wide. I mean, at least 2 wide for most of it. That would be great, just to see what these cars can do, because I've seen 2 or 3, maybe 4, and a couple races that I've called so far. Not really enough to get that outside line going. So I want to see if they can go and get that outside lane working, because that's going to definitely play for what our 2022 season coming up, because we're going to be in these cars a little bit. So, I'd like to see what they can do on the outside rather than seems like single file on the inside right now.
Yeah, biggest thing I'm looking for at the beginning of this race is how they get the restart, who gets the launch off the front, how they line up, and then it's a long race. You got a pit stop in the middle of it. Of course, we talked earlier about how that has to go well with your teammates coming in and out. But how are you going to find your teammates? Everybody out there probably has a good idea who they want to work with, but you might not be starting right next to your buddy. So how do you sort yourself back or help your buddy get to the front so that you guys can get hooked up and try to take the W on this thing?
Well, Dustin, you've been out here a little bit, and I know you rode around here. How would you do it? How would you work your way around if you knew your buddy was like 3 or 4 cars up?
I'm more of a save my equipment type guy. Miss the big one and survive till the end. You got to be there at the end to have a chance at winning the race. You never want to get caught up in an early wreck, but it does happen. But it's always tricky because that start finish line is a little bit forward or a little bit further up, and Talladega is just a different animal when it comes down to it. Like I said, you gotta be at the end. You can't win it on lap one.
I
Yeah.
beg to differ.
You could try. You could try.
No,
Well,
if-
Tommy, we've caught a couple races. I think there was one at Talladega not that long ago where your pedal got stuck and you were almost in jeopardy of going a lap down and ended up coming back. So I know you don't like hanging out in the back. Do you like being up there? Or are you one of those back and just wait till the last 10 to come in?
I like, and Andy will back me up here. I like to split the cars. If they're running side by side, give me a door, give me a window. I'm coming in between you guys, and I'm gonna push my way up. If I'm starting in the back, I'm coming up halfway through the field, straight up the middle. If I find one of my buddies in there, I'll settle in behind him. Otherwise, I'm going as far forward as I can before I settle in and have to ride along.
All right.
Well, the thing
I'm
is,
wherever I can fit.
you're
That's
saying you
my-
got to find your friends, but sometimes your enemies can be a good friend too in this track.
Yeah, we got coming in from the YouTube chat. Clugs Inferno's money is on Causey, 5 in a row.
You know,
Yeah, he's with me.
I wish they would tell us how much time is left in.
It looks like they probably went to a 10-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, official race control says 1 lap to green, and that's all we have to go on. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
race control does not like the booth.
No.
But you know what I'm seeing in that background, guys? It's very overcast here today, so that track is going to be cooled off. So with a cool track, a little bit of grip level maybe. So
Well, fortunately, with the cyclone effect, should keep the rain away.
yeah, they don't look like rain clouds, but they do look ominous. I'll tell you that. So, but it's very overcast. You have a little bit of sun, so it shouldn't be that slippery out there. They should have a nice overcast, tight track to work with. So we shall see what goes on. But as we line up here, we can go through the field. Kevin Jagir qualifies on the pole with a 52.26. Devin Zimmerman is right behind him. Dean Webb, who we really don't see that much of out here racing, he ends up coming in and qualifying third. They are gridding up right now. Corey Harrigus, Joshua Gathroy, Chuck McDonald. And there's Andy Bisnet, Ethan Thompson. There's Sean Warb. And there's the 89 cars. That's Nicholas Smith and Chuck McDonald running. He's still running the snow configuration there.
Yeah, I just noticed Dean Webb is still running a Pujanowski paint scheme. Out there representing.
Yeah, he's representing. So, yep, in that 17 Pujanowski car. So that must have been from when we had one of our TDR versus Pujanowski.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And for those of you out in YouTube world that don't know, we do have a TDR versus Pujanowski event that runs every other week that we do broadcast here on Back Sports. And being in a big field full of TDR guys, I can't help but think he might feel like a target right now.
Yeah, he might have wanted to go back and rethink that before he came out here, but we've seen everything happen in these races. I mean, we've seen guys a few weeks ago, right there as we're looking at Guerre, he spun in front of his buddy, and they got into it, but they ended up coming out of it. I mean, there's no hard feelings. Everybody's a good racer. Everybody's clean. Everybody respects one another, whether you're, no matter who you drive for. I know a lot of these other guys, they drive for other leagues, other teams and stuff like that, but they do come together for this one here, and we thank them all for coming out, showing out. As we got, was that 20 or no 19?
I think it's gonna be 19 on track, and while as we cycle through here with the cameras, all these military paint schemes. I just saw Wounded Warrior Project out there. New Mission Motorsports on that number 12. That's a racing league that the number 12 from that 10, 11, 12 team I mentioned earlier, Boogity Motorsports, has come up with. I believe that's Nicholas Smith there. I can't make out what's on the hood, but it looks good.
Yeah, Frontline. I think it's Frontline, so it looks like a Frontline on the front there. So, and
Got a throwback scheme right here.
yeah, and that's Robert Cochran driving for the Coca-Cola. That's like the old paint schemes.
Yeah,
And there's
US
Joe.
Army.
Joseph Causey, our 4-week-in-a-row winner here. And that was amazing, his drive from Phoenix. I mean, to get spun by and then come back. So that was one drive.
Civil Air Patrol.
And that is Ethan Thompson in the Civil Air Patrol, number 9. And that's the 98 machine.
Looks like a 911 commemorative scheme. And there's that Air Force, man, with that nasty-looking toothed grill on it.
We were just talking about that last week as well.
You do not want to see that in your mirror, buddy.
No.
Nice traditional navy paint on Lonnie Mixon's car there.
And there's a 66. Got a little Grim Reaper going on that car there.
Got to match on the clouds a little bit.
And there's 15 of Mike Green. We see him in the Texas machine.
Marty Brown has dropped his traditional police car paint for something a little more bomber looking.
And there's Jeremy Gaiman in his traditional 09 Army Chevrolet.
That flat army green. It looks like socks.
And there's Michael Smith in the Air Gas. Wander around back up front.
That'll take you through the field. And again, someone alluded to it earlier. The start-finish line here is not where it is at Daytona. It is a good couple hundred yards past the center of the track where you would think it is. So they're going to come around that tri-oval and get to going here in just a second as the pace car pulls off.
Yeah, and we got a 4-square out there. It's 4-square 79 says, let's go 33, Devin Zimmerman. So we got a Devin Zimmerman fan who sits on the outside there, and that's a good bet too, because Zimmerman is quick.
Yeah, and he's a name we didn't talk about in pre-race. Again, anybody can be out there. Devin Zimmerman shows a lot of speed in all the races he runs, and he's actually the esports ambassador for the Air Force. So he's got some chops behind him as well.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we've seen him in Victory Lane, so it's been since Pocono a few races ago. As they come down, and there's the start, and Kevin Jagier doesn't really get too much of a jump there. And Zimmerman's staying right to the outside. Dean Webb tucks in behind him. They roll down into turn 1. You got 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and they're still going 2 wide. See, that was a move. That was a big move there to kind of cut that down really early. They got Jagier, Zimmerman, and Webb on the inside line, and they are just not letting anything go along. But you can see that top line starting to fade now.
And you see Marty and Jeremy Gaiman, they've hooked up. They've dropped back, and they're way back in the field. But that might be a safe bet because the big one, no one knows when it's going to come, and it could come even before the first round of pit stops.
That is very true, because we saw it a little bit in practice where they started to get a little bit 2 and 3 wide as they're going 3 wide right there. Not sure if he just got pushed up a little bit, but now they're falling back in line. So yeah, you got that bottom line, which is just really starting to pull away from that second one as you ride with Dean Webb here. Very smooth on the wheel, so it's a very smooth track. You're wide open. Might drag the brake a little bit, and Dean Webb knows what he's doing. He's been in a few of these, and in fact, he was with the TDR Pujanowski race that we had here not that long ago. So he knows how to get around here in one of these machines.
Yeah, he's been in just about every TDR versus Pujanowski race we've been in. And the kid's fast. The kid's got a lot of speed. We've seen him in a few of these veteran and first responder only events as well. And, he's no stranger to Victory Lane, but he has yet to pull home the W in one of these events. But I'm willing to bet, if he's going to do it, this is the best track to do it at. Yeah,
as they start to get single file here. But it looked like a couple of people would try that outside line, but as they just ducked down, they just do not have that draft and the drafting help that they needed. They need a little more car to keep up, and everybody just falls back. So from there to last place, we're really falling back about 3-4 seconds to the front. So Jeremy Gaiman there in 15th.
You really got to have friends to make that outside line work. If you can't get it organized and very tight, bumper to bumper, it's not going to work. 3 guys going up there who aren't working very well together will not make the outside line work. You got to be tight, you got to be on it, and that's the only way you're going to make it work.
Yeah, as you see these backpacks just trying to get something together, that's really not going to help out that pack behind that just went 2 and 3 wide just trying to get through. But Lonnie Mixon there is trying to work something on the high side there. And it looks like he's starting to gain a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, if they can stay tight, if they can keep less than half or less than a quarter car length between them, they'll start making some progress. If they open that up to more than half a car length between those bumpers, they're gonna fall apart and have to fall back.
And you saw that Sean Warab there in that PT1 Jaws machine, as I like to call him. He trying to jumped up and tried to get that pack going, but they just fell apart. Lonnie Mixon jumped out and kind of broke it up. I'm not sure if he didn't feel comfortable just pulling up on the back. Maybe didn't want to get into the back of anybody. But yeah, he just went 3, and that just broke it back up, so they have to fall back single file again.
Yeah, well, at this point in the race, you got to figure the top 5, maybe even the top 7 to 10 cars, they're feeling comfortable. They're going to run that inside line, try to figure out their pit stop situation, and they're probably not going to press the issue until we get through that first round of pit stops.
No, it's usually around lap 30 to 35 is when people really start to consider going in for gas mileage. So there's only 50 laps tonight, so if they can make it past 25, then it's a one-stop race, and they should be able to do that with fuel. Tires shouldn't be an issue, maybe right sides only. I don't see going 4 if it's a green. If it stays green, I would go with 2. If it's yellow, obviously you're going to take 4 just as a precaution. But
yeah, I would say if it stays green, if depends who you're working with. A lot of guys, I don't think would even take tires. Tires don't seem to wear too much at this track. And I've done that with a couple other guys in racing like this. You just don't take tires as long as you don't spin coming off pit road because it will be slick. But tires just don't seem like they're that big of a thing.
No, I agree. Like if you look at a longer event, if you're doing 100 laps here, 200 laps here, about 100 laps is probably the limit. In a 50-lap event, all you need is a little bit of gas. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, and that could be it too. If you can get, because we figured we've seen them go 30, 35. So that'll only leave you, 15 laps, less than 20 laps. So you're just pretty much going to go 1 can of fuel, and that'll get you through to the end, and you have green, white, checkered if need be. So it should be relatively quick pit stops if they stay green. So, but if something should happen,
well, and a couple yellow flags can extend that tank as well. But the big thing is if we have no cautions, and they do run green to checker, they take their 1 pit stop at lap, say 24. Green, white checkers might become an issue, and cautions breed cautions. If we see one towards the end of this race, we'll probably see a couple more before it's all said and done.
That is a good possibility. Definitely a good possibility. They're still trying to go too wide back there. Lonnie Mixon he decks down at the bottom every now and then, but he seems to be the one that starting to lead that outside line every time we get a shot of somebody going too wide. Mixon seems to be the head of it. So as he got around Warab was the one that jumped up and tried to get that line going on the outside, and as you can see, he got shuffled back to the back there behind Chuck McDonald. And that 98 machine of Matthew Moniak there's 4 starting to make some gains, it looks like.
Yeah,
Not enough to really make a full run, but they are making some gains.
And Lonnie's got to be hungry too. He has flirted with that top 3 all season long. Obviously, Kazi is one heck of a force to be reckoned with, but opportunity racing, anybody could win this. And I mentioned to whichever one of you two picked Lonnie. Lonnie is a great choice. I think Lonnie's hungry enough, and he has the talent to get it done.
Yeah, and Lonnie's I think he underestimates himself.
Oh, absolutely.
So, no, I've raced around Lonnie enough. He knows how to get it done. That's for sure. So he's just going to need a little bit of confidence. And I think if he were to get, and he's been seeing that confidence because we've slowly seen him go up every race. He started in the back. He got up to 5th at Martinsville. And, so, and from there, at Phoenix, he was up there in the top 10. So he's gaining that confidence and he's learning, that he can do it. So and then he got the new computer so he can see the grass on his tires, as we all know. So that might be a big help as well.
I have noticed that Matt Moniak is doing was doing a fantastic job leading that line. See how he gets down in the corner and up against the door of the inside car. It pulls that inside line backwards, and they're able to break the draft. You see, he's moved all the way up to 4th place at this time.
Yeah, he is using that side draft very well. So I
Yep.
agree with you right there, Andy. That was a good observation and going in. You see Dean Webb and Kevin Jagier, I mean, they're pulling out a little bit. They're not really creating the separation, but that second pack, I know they got side by side. There was a little bit of a swap in position, but doesn't look like they're pulling back up in a hurry.
Yeah, the side draft, as Andy just alluded to, the side draft can really help you kind of drag a car back and give you a little bit of an advantage as far as getting by. But you got to be careful with it, because when you get next to that car, it kind of pulls you into each other. You don't want to accidentally touch someone and be the first guy to cause that yellow that everybody's kind of craving in the back right now.
Yeah, that's the big key. And you can see there's, even though they're kind of going too wide there and creating not as much of a, not single file, that second pack behind this pack here, they're still not catching them, and they've been staying single file every shot that I've seen. So they're not really gaining on them at this point.
They had the inside line broken up into 2 packs at one point. However, that outside line did not stick together to continue that run, so they weren't able to pull in front of that gap that they were able to pull.
Yeah, and that's key. The outside line has to stay together. They have to be bumper to bumper. They have to be really tight to make the aero package work to their advantage versus that inside line. And another advantage the inside line has is that little yellow line on the inside. They know where they need to put that front left tire to get around the track the fastest way. When you're running that outside line, it's kind of a guessing game. And you can use the side draft a little bit, but you wobble around a little more than those guys that have that very key visual marker.
Yeah, and that's what you kind of need. And as you can see, I mean, Jagier, he's just been holding it on that yellow line. He hasn't really moved off of it too much. Everybody else is jockeying for a position around him. So it's kind of like we've seen in all the other races here. If you want it, you're going to have to go to the outside. And, that's where Jagier, I think, is going to just keep it the entire race is on the bottom. And if you want it, you're going to have to go around him on the outside. And if
that's
they
the
can
biggest
get
thing
lined
that
up.
I've seen from Lonnie Mixon as he was trying to pull that outside line, is he wouldn't hug up against the inside line. He was given too much of an air gap there, and it wasn't creating enough unstable air for that inside line to break up their draft.
Yeah, and you can just see him there. He's I believe he's the only one that's going too wide in this front pack here, and he's giving him enough room. He's not sucking down on that door handle, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, and I hope Lonnie listens back to this broadcast, because you brought up a very good point, Jay, that it's not so much that he doubts himself, but he's almost guilty of your brother, right, being Gentleman Jim. He's kind of giving a little bit too much room, a little bit too much respect, and he has the speed to get it done. And I really think if he pressed the issue a little bit, he'd be right up there.
Yeah, I mean, he is hanging with these guys. He looks like he gets a run, and instead of going up and like doing the bump draft, I don't think he's comfortable with that. He'll pull to the outside rather than just getting right up underneath the guy in front of him. And that's where you start to see it. And then you have a couple of guys behind him that'll try and take that high line, but it's just there's not enough to get it to the front right now. So,
well, if he doesn't win this, we'll make sure to scold him in the post-race interview.
No, I'm very proud of him because of the way that he is racing. I mean, even though he is being the gentleman part about it, but we're only 14 laps into it. So, I mean, you really don't want to press the issue too much, but, it's racing learns.
Peeking outside, Nicholas Smith now leading that outside line.
Yeah, Smith jumped up. And if they could just stay together, that would be a
he was peaking with the 33
of Gathright.
Oh, my apologies. My apologies.
I guess that's Gathright, and they got right on his tail. They got Causey, who's pushing. I can't see a black car. He's pushing. But they're just, he's really pushing that issue right now. I mean, he is just trying to get anything going on that outside. And 2 cars.
You see how tight they are, and the back end of that lead pack is a little broken up. These 2 cars will easily catch the tail end of that lead pack. And if they can get one more guy to go with them and really stick that bumper to their bumpers, they might start making the progress on the outside there.
Yeah, and Sean Ward seemed like he was willing to go up there, but every time he jumped up there, somebody just left him. So,
I guarantee someone's watching their right-hand side, seeing these cars come up. I'm willing to bet they'll find another friend, and I'm willing to bet it's going to be Eric Zimmerman in that 33. He's been peeking on the outside a little bit, looking for somebody to go with him.
And Causey got a run and going to take him 3 wide now going into turn 1 here.
I don't think that's going to work out for him.
As they jump back down now.
He's going to get sorted back there.
I mean, but he did have a good run going from coming out of turn 4 down that short chute and then down through the tri-oval. But then when he got into turn, he kind of fell back. But, I mean, he was able to hold out. It looked like he had a little bit of a run.
Well, he broke ties with his friend. Him and his buddy, they were making progress. They were choo-chooing along there up in their outside line train, and he took it 3 wide, and his buddy was like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and not lose a bunch of spots and drop it to the inside.
There's Ethan Thompson. And
yeah, Marty Brown coming up there.
It seems like we always see different, like the same guys on different spots every week. Because that 41 has been chasing down. Normally he's in the police car chasing down that Texas car. Now he's in the 41 car, and they're still together. So Michael Green and Marty Brown, they always seem to be around each other. So hopefully they can get hooked up. But it's surprising to see that Ethan is back there because Ethan is usually up in the front. So, and they're 10 seconds behind the
biggest issue of those guys back there with Marty and Ethan and Michael Green is you saw Marty running 2 wide. They're so far back of the lead pack that they need to get hooked up bumper to tail, nose to tail, and get moving to try and close the gap on that front pack.
Yeah, with 3 cars able to run the inside line because they don't have a lot of traffic with them. Even if they hooked up with the 2 cars ahead of them, I mean, 5 cars nice and tight, they could easily chase that pack down within a matter of 10 laps.
But that's it. They weren't really that tight. They were kind of spaced out a little bit. Dustin, you've been awfully quiet. What are you seeing down there? You've been paying attention?
Just taking the race in. Going back to what they were talking about, with those guys in the back, if one guy gets out of line, it does slow him up. And Tommy did say it. They can't catch this pack. I've been back there before. And, if you start realizing, hey, this might go green for a while, we got to hook up. And one guy gets out, it just takes your momentum. You're only as fast as the last guy in your pack.
That's true.
And looking at the graphic up there from when we started talking about that second pack, they've already lost 3 seconds. So they really just need to get hooked up, get together, hope for a caution. And but they need to tighten that pack up. So that's going to help them as well.
Yeah,
right now, a little bit too much air around Mike Green to Marty Brown. So they need to really get together, streamline a little bit, stay together, and then they should be able to catch them.
Yeah, because if you look at... Go ahead, Andy.
That just might be an issue of guys not being comfortable running that tight to kind of get it up there. You see a lot of guys, and I've heard it, in fact, from your brother, Jay, that he will actually, on a super speedway, hit the brakes.
Yeah, he tells me that all the time when I'm up on him because he's been trying to work with me on the super speedway racing, and that's what he says, like, tap the brake, let me catch up, and then, so Jim is really good as far as figuring things out, and that's what you want to do, is hit the brake, pull that guy back to you, and we saw it in the Puchnowski race, too, where we had 3 or 4 TDR guys, and then we had a couple Puchnowski guys, and the one guy kept just falling back and then pulled that entire pack to them, so at the end there. So it's just a matter of getting together and making it tight, dragging the brake, keeping that guy right on your back bumper to create more of a streamline. But start to see a little bit of a separation in between these top 3.
Yeah, and real quick, jumping to the YouTube chat, we just got a Let's Go 90. I believe that's Robert Cochran running P4 at the moment. In that throwback scheme, though, it looks like a throwback Wood Brothers Coca-Cola scheme, if I'm guessing correctly.
And Andy alluded to it. We may see a couple of guys up here that, we've seen up front, but they could be spoiled. Robert Cochran, I mean, he's not really one we talk about at the front, but he's hanging in there. He's right there.
I mean, he's had consistent top 10s, no problem. Easily a top 5 car on any given day. And we're about 4 minutes outside of the pit window to be good to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some of these guys kind of separating, getting grouped up, finding their buddies to go pit with. And that might be a little bit what we're seeing up front now as they spread out. And
got a little bit of a touch. We got somebody around, I think.
Yeah, somebody just hit the wall coming off of there. They got it. They collected it back up, but last person in that lead pack there kind of slid up and tapped the wall.
That is.
There's
Yeah,
a separation. Yeah,
Our-
now they're separated. So this ought to be really interesting coming up.
Yeah, I think we're coming into the pit cycle here now, and they're getting lined up for that. I'm interested who hit that wall and how hard they hit, because Arrow's so big here, they may have to use that fast repair that they have. And if they get involved in the big one, they are now without that fast repair.
Joshua Gathright in that 98, or no, I'm sorry, Matthew Moniak. Matthew Moniak is in the 98 machine.
And you can see the damage on the right front there.
Yeah, got a little bit of wrinkle in the year ahead of good. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too badly, but I think with that amount of damage, he's not going to be able to be a front runner without significant assistance.
No, he's going to have to go in and get the quick repair. That's for
Yeah.
sure, to keep up with these guys, because Arrow is huge. I mean, you can't put any wrinkle on it.
It's so crucial here.
So we got Jaguar, Webb, and Zimmerman now with that little bit of a mix-up. I mean, they were running until saw that little tap on the wall, and I guess everybody decided to hit the brakes, so I'm not sure exactly where he was running when he jumped up there, but it got pretty wide, and it got a little bit dicey. And now there's a huge separation in between some of these guys, so starting to see a little bit more of a breakaway. Now we should be coming up on pit stops as we're coming up on halfway here in 2 laps.
Yeah, and I know Guillermo, part of that Boogity Motorsports, his partners in crime are sitting back in 10th and 16th at the moment. 17th. So he really doesn't have his teammates up there with him. He's kind of a free agent, if you will, leading this pack.
Yeah, he's out there. You got three good names right there together. So, I mean, Gier, Webb, and Zimmerman. So it's really good to see Kevin really running out front, leading the way. Dean Webb sitting right there, Zimmerman back up front, where he's been in consistent top 5, and I believe he's stretched out his point lead, did he not? He's been consistently stretching it out.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Week after week. And I believe we're just halfway through the season, so.
Yeah, speaking of halfway through the season, we are now halfway through this race, so if and when they do come in for fuel, they will be good to go to the end.
Going around, yeah, they're just getting separated here, so. Sean Werb, who was up in that front pack there we're running a little bit ago, is now 12 seconds back, and so it just shows the separation. I mean, there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, got to stay tight. And it looks like the leaders are about to come up on the tail end of that third pack, all the way back there.
Yeah, they're coming up quick. There's a picture of, there's Jeremy Gaiman, Warup, and is that Causey with them? And the U.S. Army? Yep, that's Joseph Causey, so.
Yep.
Well, we know the Causey's quick. Warb has been up front, and Gaiman's shown his speed as the leaders come down the pit road. So.
Yeah, that was expected. They'll be good to go on fuel from here. No more worries other than the big one that is potentially pending.
And now we'll see how much separation. Can they hold their speed? Did anybody get a speeding penalty? We've seen that happen a couple of times.
Now, here's the biggest thing. If these guys can stay out a lap or 2 longer, they will extend themselves ahead of those guys that went in first. The longer you can stay out on a fuel run in a super speedway, the better off you are keeping it.
Yeah, and speaking of extending ahead, Devin Zimmerman got about a 4 car length advantage on that pit entry over Kevin Guier. So hopefully there's no speeding penalty involved there as we see Lonnie Mixon peel off. It looks like everyone else is going to come in here with him. But Devin Zimmerman hypothetically took the lead away from Kevin Guier on pit entry there. As we've got about a minute and a half here as they cross the line and figure out who's sorted out where in that front pack as the back pack comes in to get everything they need to finish this race out.
Yeah, and like Andy was saying, I mean, they only stayed out 1 lap. If they would have stayed out another 1 or 2, they might have been able to cause it back up and maybe come back out in front of these leaders. So.
Yeah, I'm a fan. If I've got friends going with me, I'm not pitting until I absolutely have to at a super speedway. I would much rather be out there. Tires aren't a factor. Lap times are very similar, even 100 laps in. You know, we're cranking off laps until we got to go, buddy.
Yeah,
Devin Zimmerman will take over the lead. Andrew Biznett now up in second, a name we hadn't mentioned earlier on in this race, but he's found himself sandwiched in between our former third place and our former first place, who have now switched positions and put Andrew in between.
Yeah, Andrew is a sandwich now. But it's good to see him, and Andy can get it done too. So you got 3 quick guys right there, right in that front 3 pack. 29 seconds back to 4th, but I'm sure it's running through some cycles here, so I guess we'll see another lap or two exactly.
And those guys did not stay out long enough. As you can see, these guys came out in the draft. The other guys were coming out of the pits at that point. So they did not stay out on the track long enough to be able to either close the gap that they had lost earlier in the race or to take any type of significant lead.
Yeah, these top 3 are sitting pretty, and as they roll up to full speed, I believe 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th there, they're kind of odd men out. They need to team up. They need to find each other because that's the only way they're going to catch up. Or we're only going to have 3 guys on the lead lap here if things continue on the way they are.
Yeah, because they are really, we've got 16 on the lead lap. Michael Green is in danger of going a lap down here, so that was definitely a shakeup going through. And Jagir, you could just see he was up front, and you could see how much he stayed on that yellow line, but once he gets back and he got that dirty air around him, he's having a hard time keeping it down on the bottom there. He's kind of squirreling all over Biznett's back end there.
Yeah, heck of a move by Zimmerman, again, on that pit entry to be able to take the lead away from Guillier. He had about 4 car lengths when they went to pit entry, so he's in control of this race. And I'm not sure how Biznett wound up in 2nd place, but whatever he did, it obviously worked out. They sorted Guillier out back to 3rd, and right now, those 3, come that white flag, it's anybody's race up there.
Oh, yeah, and they have a big enough lead now that they can race among themselves. I mean, someone wouldn't take it too wide, try and get underneath of it. Maybe Biznett jump up, but Zimmerman's going to hold that bottom line. I mean, there's just no, if you want it, you're going to have to go to the outside. It's just, the way it's been. So if Biznett and Guillier can get together, who knows? I mean, will Zimmerman jump up high to block? So there's still a few factors to consider here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting in the number 1 spot right there behind Zimmerman, I'm playing it safe. I see him looking outside, and it looks like he's tempting Guillier, and Guillier might actually go with him. They might give Zimmerman a run for his money, and that will pull him off that yellow line. He will have to block that pass, and it's the only option he has.
Yeah, and these 3 here, right now, they're just fighting it out for themselves. There's really a big gap in between there. Well, you got 4 seconds back to, or 7 seconds now, I guess. Said 4 to 7. I don't know where that went through, but yeah, there was about a 7-second gap in between them. If they can get together, they might be able to pull it off. They got enough time. They got 20 to go now.
Yeah, I think for me it's too early personally. I'd like to pull my last move. 2 laps to go is probably where I'm going out. But as I see Andrew peek out, I see Kevin kind of chasing his tail end. And I think if Andrew really wanted to go pull out there and do it, I think Kevin would go with him and try to give Devin a run for the money. We got a car wrecking in the back there.
Yeah, it looked like somebody was coming out the pit and just got a little bit sideways and squirrely there. So,
happens to me all the time. That 2nd gear is tricky.
Right?
Oh,
they are, wow.
All the way to the wall there.
And that's Chuck McDonald with Jeremy Gaiman that were back there. And
Chuck McDonald looking for all the pavement he could get.
Yeah, they're using up all that racetrack, that's for sure, coming off of there. The top 3 are just pulling out, staying together. Like I said, Andrew's going to have to either make a move. They're going to have to get a really good run and try and force themselves up underneath that back quarter panel of Zimmerman. Yeah. Or they're going to have to just go high. I mean, that's the only way to get around, or just accept the fact that you're going to run 1, 2, and 3, take the points that you can get, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's still 19 to go.
There's a good gap back to 4th and 5th, but I mean, if those guys can get hooked up a little tighter than these guys, they can run up there and at least come back and play the who's going to win game. Dustin, hypothetically, you're sitting in Kevin's spot in P3. If Andrew goes for it, are you going with Andrew, or are you taking that spot from him?
Right now, I think I would take the spot, just because I know what kind of driver Zimmerman is. I know what kind of driver Andrew is, but to me, going high right now isn't the right way to go. You still got to make that pass in the end. In my aspect, well, how I would be thinking, if Andrew wants to go high, maybe Devin blocks, I stay low and I take them both. You know,
Yep.
you just never know. I mean, there's a lot of variables to go with it and how you want to race, but that's how I would be looking at it right now. If
I
they could
definitely
stay
agree.
together, they'll be all right. But if Andrew keeps popping out, that's gonna help them guys back and forth, fifth and sixth catch.
We got a yellow.
We do have a yellow.
Caution
Well,
now.
There
Well,
goes everything I was saying.
Well, that's definitely going to tighten the field back up.
I
So,
could think of at least 15 cars that wanted that to happen.
Causey gets a little impatient with the Matthew Moniak.
Yeah,
And
single car, but stopped up on the track, and it looks like he's going to be in the way here.
that's probably what caution was for, just as a safety
Yeah.
precaution, guys.
Make sure we don't get anybody else caught up in that.
Yeah, Causey just ran all over.
Good recovery by the 89, though. Kept it out of the wall, kind of downshifted twice there, got it back into second, kept it going straight. And heck of a job by him keeping it straight, because that's not an easy thing to do with these super speedways.
No,
Nice
it's not.
rotation, double downshift into second here, lets it off, back into gear.
Yeah,
Still
he did.
going.
He did do a nice little spin there, little
That's
little
something.
pirouette.
Pro tip, and I'm no pro, but when I actually practice these events, I do practice spinning out and doing the whole double downshift into second and trying to catch it back, because that's huge points positions, man. If you can get that thing righted up and keep on going, you lose 1 or 2 spots as opposed to losing 15 trying to collect your car out of the wall.
Tommy,
Right.
there is no way you're spinning that thing on purpose.
All
You
the time.
can't drive. You're just
Well,
spinning the car.
I'll see you. Let me check my watch here. December 29th is your scheduled butt whooping.
So we got some pit stop takers.
It looked like Zevin Zimmerman, our leader, jumped down on pit road. Andrew looked like he was going with him and then stayed out. So Zimmerman, who was in first, is now taking the pit, and that's going to put him in the back because they had a lot of people that stayed out on that one. So
Yeah, I find that one surprising. He had control of the race. He should be good on fuel, unless maybe he got touched by a car and feels like he might have some aero effect. But
he was out front. We were watching him the entire time. I didn't see anything that would have caused him to want to do that.
I'm a little confused by that. But he's a much better driver than I am. Otherwise, I'd be down there on the track instead of up here in the booth.
The only thing I can really think there is preparing for a green-white checker. They did come in at lap 25. He was leading that pack. He's going to burn a little bit more fuel. Maybe he's just preparing for that green-white checker because then everybody else might have to come in. But they can save a lot of gas going around this big track and under caution though too.
Yeah, good point, Dustin. And like you said, at the beginning of this race, it's shaking the dice, right? Like, that strategy might pay off. He's someone who finishes pretty well, consistently in the top 3, top 5. He has a ton of points. So maybe it's worth the gamble to prepare for that GWC and try to take a W home.
It could be something there too. He decided to pit, maybe find a teammate towards the back so they can work together to get that outside line working too.
Well,
Yeah,
I know that Zimmerman and Causey are teammates because after they've been working together, so he did mention that before. So maybe he's looking for Causey to try and help him come back up. Who knows?
Yeah, looking to help his teammate maybe. So
Oh, wow.
Biznet will take over the lead.
Yeah, I'm sure he's loving being up there. Number 1 car, number 1 spot.
Number 1 car, number 1 spot. Number 1 in the hearts.
Yeah. I think at the time that yellow came out, we still had 15 or 16 cars on the lead lap. I believe Marty Brown is the last car on the lead lap. But now with them being stacked up, we're probably going to go back to double file racing here. And anything could happen because it's Dega, baby.
It is, and we've seen a lot of close finishes. So 16 to go. They're not going to get that far away from each other. It took them a while to get separated, and after the pit stops is when they really, really got separated. So this ought to be fun.
Yeah, it's go time.
Yes, it is. We look at Lonnie Mixon, Ethan Thompson right there, and come back up to the front. That's the 81 and 66 car. Nice little U.S. Army car. And there's Joseph Causey.
Yeah, a lot of great paint schemes out here. I love how these guys bring the military theme paint, a little bit of homage, the reason why they're eligible. And I love that B-52 bomber, the one you call the Jaws car, man. That thing looks mean.
Yeah, it does. And if you notice on the side of Marty Brown's car, he had a little bit of a throwback to the old fighter scheme. See that little? There's the. See it? Like the fighter.
Yeah.
That fighter you were talking to. He's got a little bit of a monster teeth on his car.
We need to get him to put that on his real life squad car.
That would be awesome.
My name is Marty Brown. I'm here to take a bite out of crime.
McGrath, the crime dog, right? Yeah, there's Sean Warup's the Jaws machine, PT-1 Air Force. That's a mean looking machine. So,
Yeah, and I appreciate the cameraman up in the booth giving us the chance to see all these awesome paint schemes before we wrinkle them all up here. Cautions breed cautions, especially in super speedways. And we may be able to go from here to the checker, but I'm willing to bet we're going to see one more of these.
It's very well possible because they were getting racy, and now there's time to go. So if you're going to get racy, now's the time to go. Lonnie Mixon was up there trying to get that second line working, so let's see if he can get that going. He's back in, trying to get those guys to come around.
Lights are off on the pace car.
Yeah. The National Guard car there. It's a nice looking car.
Should see the pace car pulling off this time by. And again, that start-finish line's a little further down the straightaway than most of our super speedway fans might expect if you're not a big fan of Dega. But let's be serious. Who isn't a big fan of Dega?
You can say you're not until you get out here, and then you're a big fan of Dega. So
that's a toss-up between Daytona and Talladega. Which one do you like the best?
Yeah, well, they're officially in the restart zone here, and it will be on the leader this time by. Andrew Bisnet gets to decide when they get to go. And there they go.
They wore down again in the turn number 1, and looks like Bisnet got a big jump over there. Jaguar just fell back down in line. And not sure why he didn't get a run on that, but he's back down there, and they're going to fall in line. 2 back.
He didn't have too much help behind him. I think he just got in, so he didn't get dragged all the way back.
Anybody going to make a big move?
Dean Webb's going to try to lead that outside line, but he's going to need those guys to get a little more organized if they're going to make that work. With 14 to go, it's go time.
Yeah, it looked like Jaguar started to jump up a little bit there and didn't have a taker with Cochran behind him, so he jumped back down in line there behind Bisnet.
Again, if I'm sitting P2, I'm waiting for 2 laps to go. And I think Dustin agrees with me. I think we have similar race strategies when it comes to super speedway racing, but we might see something happen a little earlier than Dustin or I would be willing to take part in.
I've been in that seat, that position a few times, and I've taken it a little too late. 2 laps to go is probably the time to do, maybe a lap and a half. This all depends on what you feel that guy behind you is going to do. Are they going to help you? Or do you have to pull off a longer side draft?
Yep, very situational. If you watch your mirror, if you're peaking and they're peaking with you, there's a good chance they're going with you. If you're peaking and they're just getting a little closer, you probably need to stay tucked.
Very true.
Yeah, this is definitely situational racing. It's whatever the guy around you is going to do. You can't just do it by yourself. So you may hint to go, but if nobody goes with you, I mean, you're just going to have to tuck back in line.
I'll tell you, if I was sitting 5th, 6th, 7th place right now, I would be trying to get that second line going, because with 13 laps to go, I mean, you got to make up some spots real quick, and you got to figure out who's going to run that outside line with you. Now would be the time to start forming that outside line if you're outside the top 5.
And give it a test run to see what you got going, and then
yeah, at least pull some cars out there with you.
Let's just see Gaiman up in the 4th spot, and he was back there in that separated pack a little bit earlier, so he found his way around. By staying out, he moved his way up to 4th, and he's right there with Cochran. So we know that Cochran and him also race together. So who's going to jump out and take it? I mean, somebody's got to start making a move now. We're at 12 to go. You got to start forming that outside line to get any type of run going, and nobody seems to want to jump up there.
Yeah, I see 5th place. Corey Harrigus is kind of taking some peeks outside, but he just can't get the guy behind him to go with him.
I think that's Kazi behind him, and I think he's just seeing what Kazi wants to do.
But yeah, Harrigus and Pierre right there that will work together. They are, they're part of that 3 teams that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
So
Boogity
if
Motorsports.
Boogity Motorsports, and if they move up, I mean, if Cochran goes high and Gaiman goes up, then you got Guerre and Harrigus right there to, can hook up, and they'll be able to press the issue.
See, I keep seeing 1 or 2 cars there. Oh, there we go. Gaiman leading the outside line.
Looked like the inside line got a little squirrely. I think Gaiman may have gotten force up there, but he's trying it.
I mean, you have to. You have to try it.
Yep.
That's a surprising move, though, to see Harrigus jump up there with Gaiman. I thought Harrigus would have stayed down knowing that Guerre is right there, so if they would have jumped up, that would have put him closer to his teammate.
Like I said, it looked like it kind of got a little squirrely there. I'm wondering if there was a little bit of bump drafting and they got shaken out.
And now we got Causey up there in the 4th spot, so... yeah.
10 to go, and it's going on right now.
There's a lot of moving, a lot of shaking going on. Looks like they're trying to get that outside line going. It's just when they get up there. No, we got a spinner! A spinner
Yellow.
Caution with 10 to go. Yeah, somebody's whacked that wall hard. Oh my god, that's Mike Green spinning down there in the number 15 car. Chuck.
I feel like a real Larry Mack now, man. Cautions breed cautions, and I am the Nostradamus of super speedway racing. Here we go again.
Oh yeah, so Michael Green, and looked like Chuck was the one that took the worst of that. He really got... Yeah.
It was a hard hit.
Yep, and we saw somebody in the air. That might have been Chuck, or I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Chuck McDonald got turned pretty quick.
2 hits.
And then Green just kind of running up the truck backwards.
Yeah, and if you're going to hit, that's the best way to go. It's going to push that spoiler up in the air, and you really don't need the back end as much. You need more aero front than you do aero back. But yeah, they got together.
He took a couple licks to the front as well. I think that's going to need a quick repair there.
Yeah, that's going to need a quick repair. So unfortunate for those guys. I mean, we saw Chuck up there earlier. Green, he was just kind of waiting for the opportunity, and I think it's just product of race, and everybody's just 10 to go, bump drafting. It wasn't the big one, so it could have been worse. 3 or 4 cars involved in that one. As we pull back, Andrew Bisnet maintains the lead on that one. Kevin Guerre, Robert Cochran, Joseph Causey, David Zimmerman, Joshua Gathright are your top 5. Getting winded up here, guys.
It's always filling out Talladega. It seems like you get that long green flag run, and like Tommy alluded earlier, cautions breed cautions, and we're probably gonna get the green flag with 6, 7 to go, and it's go time, and there's gonna be no give and take anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. You get them stacked up and go time. Like
it's all take. All take.
It's all take, and you've got some friends, but you're only friends to the end. And who knows who determines when the end is, right?
That's true. So
at some point, someone says, "This is the end. We're no longer friends. I'm going to race you."
Yeah, and that's pretty much any race. Like the last 3-4 laps, everybody knows whoever you work with. Those friendships go out the window because you're just trying to get as much as you can. And if you're going for the win, push that a little bit harder, take them down a little bit, do an odd move that you weren't doing all race just to get around. So
I can tell you, if I was Andrew Bisnet right now, I'd be the one that's the maddest of anybody about that. Nobody wanted to go. Nobody was really going to push it. You have to, except for those guys maybe in P2, P3, nobody had a shot unless they were getting ready to go at that point.
Yeah, they really need a break on that outside if they're going to go, and someone has to be the one to lead, and they have to pull it off appropriately. And if the line doesn't fall apart, you can't just jump back inside. When you jump back inside, you've abandoned everyone you've invited to the outside, and now they're no longer your friends. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to go outside and you're going to try to lead that line and people go with you, you got to support them all the way through, even if it costs you a few positions. Because regardless of this race, there will be another race, and everyone remembers all the races before.
That is true. And if you go to another super speedway, you know who's going to work with you and who's not going to work with you. So you got to kind of Mind your P's and Q's, but at the same time, be racy enough. And nobody seems to, they've seemed to want to go, but I've only seen as many as 4 line up on that outside line.
Yep.
I-
Super speedway racing, how you behave in the etiquette here determines the next super speedway race where you're racing the same guys, because they remembered how you behaved in this one. If you're going to take that outside line and someone goes with you, you have to support that outside line all the way to the end of it.
Right.
Very true.
And as we
Jumping-
line up here, there's
ahead,
there's a different look for Causey now, because Causey isn't used to seeing any of these 3 guys that are in front of him be in front of him on any race. The only one that's next to him is at number 33 of Zimmerman. And you got Ethan Thompson right there as well. So you got Causey, Zimmerman, and Thompson who have raced together quite a bit throughout the course of these series. They know what to do, but you're looking at Andrew Bisnet, who we know can get it done. Cochran, who's, Mr. Consistency, always up there. He knows how to stay in line and get it done. You got Pierre, who, if he can get caught up, fall back in line, he could actually lead. I believe he's the one that could lead that outside line, but he's got to stay on that outside line, and he's got a couple fast cars right behind him.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to stick to it. If you're gonna go outside, you got to stick to it. You got to try to make it work. With 7 laps to go, as the pace car pulls off here, it has to work. If you go back to the inside line, you're just gonna be stuck wherever you are.
And you are split right down the middle with cars on the inside and cars on the outside. So if 1 or 2 cars jump to that inside, it's going to completely ruin that outside line. If the cars on the outside would stay together and the cars on the inside, you may have a race going down to that final lap.
Well, my call still stands. It's going to be the 10, 11, or 12. That Boogity Motorsports team, I think they're gonna make it happen. What do you guys think?
Well, you
My
got a good
calls-
shot with the 11.
My call's got to make a big push from. I think he's in 11th right now, but Lonnie can make it happen.
I don't doubt
I'm
it.
sitting good. I said there was one of the guys we ain't talking about all the time is going to win this race.
And I'm sitting pretty good too there, Andy, because I got Causey and Zimmerman sitting right there in 4th. So, and these guys know how to get done if they can get together. So it's going to be fun. I'm kind of with Tommy. We may see another caution before this is all over. Make it a green white checker.
I'm not a betting man, but I'm willing to bet we'll probably see another one. And weren't we just perplexed about Zimmerman's pit strategy, and now he's sitting P5 after the second caution? So I think whatever he was doing in there worked out for him.
Yep. As the pace car's getting ready to go into the pits.
See you soon, Mustang.
Don't get too comfortable there.
Don't even cut it off. Just let it idle.
All right, Dustin, take us down to the green here.
So we got Andrew Bisnet bringing us to the green flag. He'll more than likely won't fire off early. They're firing. I don't. Looks like Gregory is going to stick outside with 2 wide all the way back to a few rows back.
And Causey's just pushing the air. Oh, there
There it is.
Is he going to get up? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
What can I
Cochran
do?
gets around and
man.
takes out a couple of guys in the front. So there's the caution. Man, I don't even think that the pace car made it to the end of pit road.
No, that's a pretty long pit road.
You heard
Man.
me. I told him, don't even cut it off. Don't even cut it off. You're going to be right back
When
out
that-
here.
That's where I was watching. I was watching for
Oh.
somebody to get spun.
Yeah, I caught the 12 of Harrigus there, part of that Boogity Motorsports team that I picked arbitrarily ahead of this opportunity event.
Yeah, and that was Zimmerman that got into the back of Cochran. So Zimmerman didn't give anything. It looked like Cochran got a little bit loose. Just jumped up the track a little bit, came back down, and it was already too late. Zimmerman already had his nose under the
Yeah.
quarter panel there.
And you guys know as well as I do, at these super speedways, restarts aren't hard because you spin the tires. These things are geared so long, you couldn't spin the tires if you wanted to on a restart. But it's all about timing. Every now and then, someone, sitting back there like, sorry, I thought you were going to go faster. They accidentally touch somebody a little bit, and it all kind of spills out.
Yeah, and we saw that on the restart there, that last couple times, the leader got a little bit of a jump going down on that front stretch, but this time Pierre stayed on right on the outside of Biz net and kind of led them back. You know, they were almost even at the line. So I think Pierre's got Biz net's number. So if he's going to be out there, he needs to kind of mind his P's and Q's and keep that in the back of his mind. That, you know, he's not going to get that jump that he had before.
And in homage of Super Speedway restarts, if you go to tylerdracing.com/shop, we do have, sorry, I thought you were going to go faster merchandise.
And Tommy, upside down Hebert t-shirts. We got a sale going on.
I don't want to see any of those sold.
I'm buying 5.
See, when it comes to TDR merchandise, you do not want to become a t-shirt because you are famous for the wrong reasons. Unless it's one of the nice ones like TDR versus Pudge or whatever. But if you have your own t-shirt, you did something that made us laugh.
You don't want to be the nozzling t-shirt?
Definitely don't want to be the nozzle t-shirt.
But in a way, you want to be on a t-shirt. It means you made your impression on TDR, and it makes you feel good. Depends what it's like.
Famous for all the wrong reasons over here.
That's why I put an upside down wording on my car just for you, Tommy.
I know.
Well, if I keep racing the way I do, I'm going to have the shirt called the other down 'em. You know what I'm saying? So
the other down 'em, yes.
Jim has been kicking my butt lately. Oh my God, Jim is amazing. He's been doing really well lately. I'm so proud of him. So.
Yeah. We joke about Gentleman Jim and how generous he is with track space and kind of lets people buy him. We talked about Lonnie kind of being the same way. But Jim is very much like Lonnie, kind of he has the ability, doesn't always take charge and take advantage of what he has. Because you're right, Jim is fast, man.
Yeah, everywhere we go, he seems to find his way. I mean, I've watched a few races with him in the fall fling. So he knows how to get it done.
I remember when Jim wasn't fast. And I'd be like, oh, there's Jim. Bye, Jim. And now it's like, oh, there's Jim. Dang it, Jim, come back. Jim, come back.
Yeah. He yells at me all the time. I've heard him yell at me a few times. So
Tommy, I feel like you're telling a lot of people to come back.
Yeah. Especially the last Talladega race. If it wasn't for that yellow, everybody would have been calling the whole field back. Come here.
If you guys want to see a race and see a great broadcast, tune in next Wednesday night as I whoop Tommy's rear end in the grudge match.
Oh, you're such a liar.
That draft Wednesday night will be a good time.
As we line up here, we got Kevin Gare, and look who's on the outside there. Causey found his way to second spot.
That's where he's going to finish next Wednesday.
Third. Joshua Gathright out there in fourth. Dean Webb, Devin Zimmerman, Sean Warb, Jeremy Gaiman round out the 8th. Ethan Thompson, Michael Smith, Marty Brown, Lonnie Mixon in 12th.
Yeah,
Corey Herrick gets in 13th. Michael Green 14th. Chuck McDonald, Curtis Gudenkoff, who was involved in that last accident. Robert Cochran, Matthew Boniak, and Nicholas Smith round out the field.
Yeah, Dean Webb made some good progress there. He was sorted way back in the field, and he's found his way back up front, or up front-ish.
So as we go 1 to green. What position do you guys want to be in as drivers here? You want to be in the front? You want to be a couple rows back? How do you guys feel about what's going on here?
Give me first place. Give me the
biggest thing I'm noticing, guys, is they have this set to single file restarts.
Ooh.
Which is absolutely terrible.
That's going to ruin
Speedway. That's going to ruin the finish.
Well,
yeah, because you're not going to be able to get a run. I mean, man, yeah, that's going to definitely take away some of the excitement here for the finish, because single file, you're going to have to force somebody to the outside now.
We're going to have to remind race control this is a super speedway.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think is going to be the first one to jump out? Because Causey and Zimmerman got...
I mean, honestly, if second and third get a good restart and jump out, it's going to be 2-wide racing. Everyone's going to pick a line and go with it. But that's about the only way we're going to get 2-wide racing. It's unfortunate race control is set at the single file. We will have a word with them after the broadcast, because again, race control and the broadcast booth don't get along. We're like sales and operations, baby. One of us wants to move it, and the other one says they don't have it. And either way, it's got to get done, right?
Right. So We got 3 to go, I believe, at the line. So we have 2 times to get around before we get into green, white, checker. We go into overtime. I don't know.
Like Tommy was saying, though, I mean, that second and third place car, that they get the run, will get some excitement. Or I don't know who was saying it, but it could be somebody from the back, and you got some teammates together. This could be a product of good racing. This could be just a shootout, single file. I guess we're gonna wait and see.
And we'll find out.
If I was, yeah, I mean, I don't know how the communications are down there talking with these guys, but if I was Biznet, I'd be telling Gathright, let's go to the top, and then Webb.
Right. Line up outside anyway. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, and you got Zimmerman right there behind Webb, and you got Warub and then Gaiman, so you have
Here
quick
they go.
cars. All right, so somebody already jumped to the high side,
Yeah.
and they're going double file. So yeah, Gathright did jump to the high side, but he didn't get the Biznet didn't get the memo to go outside with him. So
Kazi got a bit of a launch there, but without Biznet to help him out, I don't think they're going to be able to jump out right now. Now, they will have 1 lap left to complete this pass, and it's go time. You got to go. You got to go.
Over the back of gear. Could it? Man, Kazi is pushing gear big time. I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes him around. I mean, he is really pushing him. He isn't even letting off in the turn. He's right there.
He might just be trying to unsettle him off that yellow line and give him some room. Kazi sees that window, can jump to the inside real quick and take it away from him. There it is. Oh, whew.
He just didn't have enough help with Biznet in the back there because he's just far enough back, but Biznet doesn't have a run yet to even help him.
Yeah,
So
I think Kazi here has cost his own second place. He pushed gear that are so far out front that Andrew wasn't able to help him.
Yeah, and it's just, and now we got to run on the backstretch. It looks like finally we got a line on the outside, and they're making a little bit of a run, but I think it's a little bit too late with 1 to go.
Well, they got one more pair of
Biznet comes down. They're really fighting for position. Biznet gets up underneath and helps Gier. 3, 4 wide.
Kazi's now being punished for his mistakes. He's getting sorted all the way to the back there, 3 wide.
Is he coming down? Oh, there's a spin.
1 car to the inside.
Gier. There's Biznet. Oh, and they get around. Biznet goes around.
We'll
So
be hearing
Gier
about that post race.
Wow, Gathright comes home. Dean Webb brings it home 3rd. So, whoa, that was talk about taking and no giving. That was all take.
Yeah, how about Dean Webb making it up there to P3 and avoiding the mess there? That was some excellent driving.
Yeah, definitely overcoming some adversity earlier on too. He got sorted back a little bit there, fought his way back up to P5, and then after a couple incidents there, P3. I agree, Andy. Dean Webb did a phenomenal job out there, despite the ugly paint job he's running on that car.
Wow, what a finish, guys! That was, whew, man. There was a lot of action in that.
Yeah, man, exciting stuff. I'm still here trying to catch my breath.
So excellent drive by Dean, though. Like I said, to come up. I mean, he started up front and kind of fell back a little bit, but avoided all that trouble at the end. So Gier, Gathright, and Dean Webb.
Speaking of Webb, so I've got this Gathright. I don't have access to Gathright. You guys want to talk to Dean Webb about that P3?
Do that.
Yeah.
Let me get him sorted down here because our race winner, takes some valuable time to burn it down. But we'll get him dialed in here. Hey, Dean, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Yeah, man, I got you. What's up?
Hey, man, heck of a P3. You fought a little adversity early on and wound up getting up there with the podium. What was it like out there? You got about 20 cars, a lot of veterans, good racing. Did you have a good time, at least?
Oh, yeah, man. No, that was awesome. When I fell back to 14th, I was like, I don't know, with this package, if we can get this nasty Ford back to the front. And then, oh, man, I just couldn't believe the way it worked out. And it was like, pick them one off at a time and see what we could do.
Yeah, heck of a job fighting through the field. I mean, like we all saw you got sorted back, and we're like, oh man, Dean Webb got picked out there. We know he's a fast guy, and you proved it. You are a fast guy. You got your way all the way back up to P3 and get to drink some of the champagne with the winners.
Yeah, man. That run on the end there is what did it. was just getting the run, then going outside, and luckily whoever was behind me went with me.
So
Yeah, that's
a
what we're trying to.
question for you, Dean. When you noticed it was a single file restart in that final restart, what were the thoughts going through your mind there that that was going to shuffle you a little further back from the leaders?
So yeah, I was actually thinking Zimmerman was going to be super aggressive on the restart, which he was. And I don't know. I just got dang lucky that he didn't quite get the side draft he needed, and I was able to keep the draft in front. But honest to God, I thought for sure Zimmerman was going to get me on the outside because we were all spinning tires, and that's that's where I was. Zimmerman's going to be aggressive. He's going to go outside, get in front of me, and then I got to wait and hopefully go with him if he forms up on the high side.
Yeah, that 33 can definitely be aggressive.
Yeah, I heard him rev up, and I was like, "Oh no!" But keeping that when he side drafted me and then lost it out of 2, that's when I got the run, and I was like, "Oh man, if I get the run and coming into 2, I think I should go outside," and it worked out.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm sorry it wasn't a W. Obviously, we got to talk to the guy that got it, but we wanted to bring you in here first, man. A heck of a fight
Yeah.
back from where you started to where you were to where you finished. Good
Yeah,
job
man, I
tonight.
appreciate it. Thanks for all you guys do.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, man.
All right, we're going to get Dean sorted back to his teammates here. He can go party with them. Let's go ahead and get that race winner dialed up. Part of the Boogity Motorsports team. And what I love about Boogity Motorsports is how well they've worked together. We actually had the third guy, Mike Smith, here tonight running with them. Unfortunately, they didn't get hooked up, but one of those 3 did pull it off. Kevin Guillier, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me, buddy?
I got you.
How'd you do it?
I don't know, man. I was very nervous with Kazi behind me. Did everything I could to keep him back there. I backed off like crazy because I knew he was backing up trying to get a run. I just backed up with him and tried to not let him get that run.
So early on, you were kind of you had the lead, and then the cautions came. You guys were doing really well and just pulling away from the field during the long green flag run and after the pit stops. But then the caution came. Did that make you a little bit more nervous, tightening up the field and thinking, oh, here we go. Now the big ones are coming.
Yeah, I pretty much thought when it was just the 3 of us out there that, well, the worst I'm probably going to finish is 3rd unless we do something stupid. Wait till a couple laps to go and try to make some moves. When the caution came out, definitely I was nervous. And starting on the outside, I didn't know how that was going to work. So.
Yeah, and speaking of the outside, are you surprised that nobody really tried to make, throughout the whole race, nobody tried to really make that outside line go?
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of restrictor plate, not a lot, I guess, but we've done a bunch of restrictor plate racing in this league, and it seems like the second line usually gets going. I'm not sure why. I know when I was out front, nobody ever came up next to me. I was able to just hug the bottom and stay out front. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of guys were being very timid when they were taking that outside line. We'd see some guys kind of peek. Every now and then someone would take it. They might get a buddy to go with them, but their buddy would dip back in and just kind of bail on them. I know Andrew Bisnet ran behind you for a while, and he was peeking outside constantly. And he actually had, I believe it was Kazi behind him at the time, that would have gone with him. Was Bisnet making you nervous when he was looking outside?
Yeah, I was watching. So early in the race, that whole first, I guess, half of the race when I was out front, I was pretty much committed. I'm just going to stay low. And if they go outside, then I'm not going to try to block them. I'm going to stay low. And, the guys behind me will come up and either I'll lose the lead or, I just didn't want to, I guess I was being timid too. I didn't want to wreck anybody and then at the end of the race, though, those last 2 laps, man, I'm going to go high. I'm going to go wherever I got to go to keep somebody behind me.
Well, you definitely pulled it off, man. Jay, Dustin, you got any questions for our race winner tonight? Anything you want to let the people out in YouTube land here?
Kazi was right on your back bumper there, Kevin, pushing you like really hard. Did he, from where we saw, was he upsetting your car? I mean, were you really nervous when he was pushing you all the way through turn 3?
No, so I felt it on the backstretch quite a bit. And then when we got in the corner, I didn't really feel it too much. So I don't know if he was actually touching me or on the backstretch. I was okay. When I got to the corner, I was like, "Oh God, please, let me get around this corner before he gets to my bumper again," because I know he likes to push, and I'm not, I've done this a couple of years. I'm not the best at handling that kind of stuff. So I was a little nervous about that, but I don't think he ever really, if he did touch me, it wasn't hard enough to upset the car at all in the corners.
And were you in contact with any of your other teammates to try and kind of sort it out and try and so you had somebody behind you that was more comfortable and it just didn't work out? I mean, how did your communication go with that?
Yeah, so with Mike and Corey, we always try to stay together on the restrictor plates, but qualifying, we were one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back, and we just never were able to get together. If we'd have got together, we would have, and we would have, tried to stay together. So it just never worked out today.
Yeah, and then on second to last restart, you were outside of Biznet, and it looked like you and um, Zimmerman got together and were able to. That was about the only time that we've actually seen the outside line really work. Were you hoping that maybe that would have stayed the case and somebody else would have gone up? Because when you took over the lead, it was kind of like one of those deals where, nothing was really happening on the outside. People were trying, but you were the only one that seemed to have anything on the outside. Were you able to maintain on the outside if you were to be left out there to get around them? Did you have a run to suck up and get around them, or was it pretty much just up to the draft?
Yeah, so that pass it was on the I think it was on the restart, and the green flag went, and we took off, and I just beat him with I think it was Kazi. I think it was Kazi behind me pushing me into turn one, and he pushed me far enough so I could drop down. And I think we both cleared him, and then the caution came out again. So then me and Kazi ended up first and second, um, and then the single file restart, kind of set the rest of the race.
Well, congratulations. I mean, that was an awesome run. You were fast all night. It was good to see you up front all night. I know you had a little bit of a hard luck here and there, but it's nice to see you finally get a W and shake the field up a little bit and bring it home. It was excellent racing. Congratulations.
And most importantly, break that winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like real life, man. On this track, anybody can win, So on the other tracks, those guys, they're very fast, and I'm trying to learn everything I can from them. But on this track, it's kind of like, hey, how the draft shakes out and how the wrecks shake out, and whoever ends up front ends up front. So it worked out for me today. I'm really happy. I appreciate you guys broadcasting. I appreciate Jeremy running this thing and TDR running it. It's an amazing group of people we have here.
Yeah, man. It's our pleasure. Congratulations on the win, and thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you guys very much.
Congrats, man.
All right, so I'm gonna get him sorted back so he can celebrate with everybody up there in the driver's chat. You guys want to talk to Marty Brown? He had a solid top 10 tonight, which he's one that's been in and out of this league a couple times. I kind of want to get his input on what he thought of the race. I know he ran in the back a little bit there, but
Yeah, let's get the hard luck winner up here. He got a top 10. Come on.
Yeah, a solid top 10. Hey, Marty, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me, buddy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, P6, you're a little bit removed from a podium. I know you haven't been in every race this season. It's good to see you back on track and finding some time to come participate. Solid top 10 tonight. How did you feel out on the track? I noticed early on you were running way in the back. I assume trying to avoid the big one, and then you found your way up there in the top 10.
Yeah, the strategy was to kind of hang around in the back, but right off of the start, we had a couple of drivers that either missed shifts or something, and I think me and Mike Smith really had to work back probably 10 laps to catch up to another small pack, and it was just kind of a chasing game the rest of the time.
And I see you lost your police car, so it's kind of good to see that that little monster you had on the side there. But you lost the police car, so you're saying that nobody respects the police, so they weren't pulling over for you?
No, I just wanted to do a throwback for a friend, and this is what I ran for Gas and Go, and it was just always one of my favorite cars. So I figured I'd pull it out since we're not going to be using these cars much more. So I
It
wanted
was
to
like a
run it
very
again.
mean machine, that was for sure. So, I mean, you had a good run tonight. Good to see you up there. And you were involved, weren't you involved in some trouble earlier, or did you get in anybody?
Well, first of all, me and Green spun doing our green flag pit stop. He locked him up, and I tried to miss him and ended up locking it up myself and used quick repair there. Then right at the end, I think second to last caution, they had a stack up in the back, and I pretty much rear-ended someone. There's nothing you can do. It's just plate racing.
Yeah, it's hard to get in that pit stop, and you guys being in that backpack, the leaders kind of came in about 5 or 6 of them, and then everybody else came in all at once right after them.
Yep.
And that's a tricky situation, getting in and getting out, as you discovered or as you know. But I made a joke up here in the booth. Do you think your department would let you put those teeth on the side of your squad car?
I wish that'd be awesome. I mean, I don't think they would, but it would definitely be awesome. I would love it.
It might encourage the perps to behave more.
It might be a little intimidating for our community-style policing, but
A little fear
could-
factor.
yeah, we could work on it.
But Marty, good run, man. Top 10 finish. I hope to see you out for more of these. There's not much time left in the season, but as we go into season 5, if you're able to find the time, I'd love to see you out there full time for sure.
As I can run, I'll definitely be here, and thank y'all for all y'all do.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for your service to your community.
Thank you.
Get Marty sorted back up there with the drivers, and I think that's everyone we really need to talk to. I don't want to bring up Lonnie fading to the back. I definitely don't want to talk to Biznett because he's probably pretty heated getting spun out of third place there. That's something we'll probably hear about in race control later.
Is Gathright in here or no? We haven't talked to Josh.
No, we don't have Gathright in the thing. I would have pulled him in first if I had him. I do have I got Cochran. Well, he was P4 for a while. Had an incident. I got Warab.
Yeah, Cochran was good all night. I mean, he was up there in the top 4. He was fighting for it. So I'm gonna pull Cochran in, and then I'll just go from there.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get the 90 dialed up. Hey, Robert, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy? Robert, Cochran, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us? Well, he doesn't want to talk to us. So.
Yeah, he's shy. He don't want to talk to us.
He's too shy.
Okay. So,
well, I think that's going to wrap it up. Jay, Dustin, as always, thank you for joining us up here. Great time in the booth. Andy, I think it's about time to shut it down.
I think so. We had an awesome race tonight. Ton of fun. We got a couple bills we're gonna pay on our way out, and then
of course,
then
these bills just keep coming.
I know it.
They
As
never
always, as we talk to these drivers every week after the race, we are sitting in the Sunny South Raceway, Victory Lane.
Sunny South Raceway, Grand Bay, Alabama. Track manager Lonnie Mixon, who is a veteran that participates in these races. Focusing on racing from ages 4 and up, champ, karts, midgets, sprints. They do it all down there, built as the finest quarter-mile high bank racetrack in the South. Sunny South Raceway, Grand Bay, Alabama. Go check them out any given Saturday night.
And B&B Wraps.
B&B Wraps, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you need it wrapped from coffee cups to semi-trucks, B&B Wraps will get it done for you.
We got a race coming up Thursday. It's going to be our final race of the season, the IROC Series, Chicagoland, and we have one fantastic, fast setup that doesn't burn tires at Chicagoland, all set up by McConey Setup Shop.
I am so looking forward to that race because due to my own mistake, I was parked for Dover. And Dover is the race that you wrecked me at in 2020. Which is leading up to our grudge match, which will also be broadcast on Back Sports December 29th, and I can't wait to give you what you deserve.
Last but finally not least, should we say it? Total BS.
Total BS is the worst way to introduce our title sponsor for the TDR veterans and first responders.
If I keep calling it that, I think people will remember it.
Well, that's true, and we should actually talk with Sean Risley about maybe changing the name. At least online, maybe professionally, he can keep the long title. But I think Total BS does have a little ring to it. Anyway, TotalBusinessSolutionsNE.com, our title sponsor for tonight's event. They make it easy. They provide business services to help you guys focus on growth with your business. Payroll management, employee benefits, time and attendance, insurance, and merchant services. They make it easy so you can focus on growth.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a great race tonight here at Talladega. Gonna be off next week for the vets. Bet doesn't mean we don't have racing though.
Oh, we got racing all week long.
We'll have racing here on Back Sports every single night of holiday week up till Christmas Eve. We will be off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We will be back Boxing Day for you Canadians on the 26th with yet another race. All 5 races that week, grudge matches. We're going to kick it off on Monday with Jim versus Mitch. Tuesday, we move to Eric Steele versus Chris Lockwood 2. Our first grudge match.
Wednesday will be me versus some loser.
Yeah, Wednesday, I'm going to kick Tommy's rear end.
We'll see about that.
Thursday, Blair Patterson takes on young gun Ashton Hooker. Ooh. Then you guys can go and enjoy your families on Friday and Saturday. Then we come back on Sunday with the big one. The big one. Adam Rickey, Kevin McCann. Who's getting on the elevator now? That's what we got to find out.
That's gonna be something else.
That's all next week. Join us back here with Jay and Brendan Thursday night for our final race of the season in the IROC.
And you don't want to miss it. It is a very, very, very tight points race in between Adam Rickey and Dakota Bro.
Oh, yeah, very tight.
Very tight. Still anybody's championship to be won between the two of them. Top 10 points race is very tight as well. And it's a very fast, very great handling setup. Just a phenomenal setup by McConey. Going to be a ton of fun. Fast race, super late model, Chicagoland. That's Thursday night, 8 o'clock here on Back Sports. Dustin, Jay, Tommy, thank you as always for everything that you guys do up in this booth. Great job tonight. And on that note, we'll see you soon.
I so hope my team kicks your team's ass.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, you can.
I have no idea. Like
whatever you want.
Like the thing is, it doesn't come down to what you two do. It comes down to what your team does.
Exactly. Like,
I can't wait to call this